Hello. My name is Ian Cox, and I decided to do a 7-minute long presentation on the play Hamlet. And I chose as one of the theories from the Christian Guide to the Classics. It's Hamlet's quest for a pure motive. Hamlet delays until he can execute Claudius from a pure motive, that is, a desire for public justice, not from hatred or personal desire for revenge. So this is more so going to speak to Hamlet's character. Just to give you the brief backdrop of the play, it's simply a play where Hamlet is off in college and Claudius kills his father, then marries his mother, and Claudius is actually the brother of the former king. And now Hamlet is back, and in a fit of rage, he's going through some mental things on revenge for his dad, and and still he has his uncle who's married his mom, and it's just a tough time for him. By the time we get to Act 4, Scene 4, we see Hamlet has been sent away after killing Polonius, who is his girlfriend's father. It's just sort of like a big soap opera. And in a fit of rage, one of his moments he has, and he kills Polonius mistakenly, thinking that it was maybe Claudius that he had killed out of revenge for his father. But it's not. It's actually his girlfriend's father. And so Claudius, because Hamlet is so popular amongst the public, has been sent away on a ship. And that's in Act 4, Scene 4. And in Act 4, Scene 4, you see Hamlet then goes again in this another fit of rage after he enters the ship, has a few words with the captain. We see another one of his soliloquies, which I will read to you. And this is where Hamlet is debating in his mind. He definitely has, from my personal perspective, the character of Hamlet is that he wants to do the right thing, but there's still, you can almost feel the anger welling up in him, and he's trying to hold back the revenge because from a Christian perspective, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, and the Lord says, I will repay. So if I'm looking at it from Hamlet's point of view, he doesn't want to kill Claudius out of revenge. He actually just wants Claudius's death out of justice. This is where the motive in his mind and the balance in his mind is going on a back and forth. And so I'm going to read Hamlet's discourse in Act 4, his soliloquy, I should say, in Act 4, Scene 4. And this is where he has put off, or kind of what we would say procrastinated, on a time and opportunity that he had to avenge his father, because he didn't feel like he was in the proper mental state, and he wants to make sure that publicly it's not revenge but justice, right? And so that's where you see the character of Hamlet. And here it kind of seems like he's a little upset, and it also seems like he's down, and it also seems like he's losing his mind all at the same time when he's having this discussion with himself, or a soliloquy. And it reads like this. How all occasions do inform against me, and spur my dull revenge. What is a man? In his chief good and market of his time, but to sleep and feed. A beast no more. Sure, he that made us with such large discourse, looking before and after, gave us not the capability of godlike reason to thrust in the us unused. Now, whether it be the steel oblivion or some craven scruple of thinking too precisely on the event, a thought which, quartered, hath but one part wisdom, and ever 3 parts coward. And I do not know why yet I live to say this things to do. Still I have cause and will and strength and means to do it. Examples. Gross as earth, exhort me. Witness this army of such mass and charge, led by a delicate and tender prince, whose spirit with divine ambition puffed, makes mouths at the invisible event, exposing what is mortal and unsure to all that fortune, death, and danger dare, even for an eggshell. Rightly to be great is not to stir without great argument, but greatly to find quarrel in a straw when honors at the stake. How stand I, then, that have a father killed, a mother stained, excitements of my reason and my blood, and let all sleep? While, to my shame, I see the imminent death of 20,000 men that, for a fantasy and trick of fame, go to their graves like beds. Fight for a plot whereon the numbers cannot try the cause, which is not tomb enough and continent to hide the slain. Oh, from this time forth, my thoughts be bloody, or be nothing worth. So here, Hamlet kind of closes this thing out in his mind because he has not taken advantage of the opportunity to avenge his father, or in this case, seeking his mind out a way to really publicly have justice prevail. And so the next scene that I looked at very intently was Act 4, Scene 5. And in that particular scene, we see now that Polonius's brother and Polonius's son and daughter are having a discussion. The daughter is grieving, and the son is outraged because he wants to avenge his father's death. Of course, Hamlet is off somewhere on a boat, and so here we see this discussion, and then this discussion between Gertrude first and Ophelia, and then the king is kind of in this scene, and we see Laertes, who's the son of Polonius, who Hamlet killed. He breaks in because he wants immediate action. Right? He's mad and he's upset, and rightfully so. His father's dead, and then Ophelia kind of seems to lose her mind. Ophelia is actually the former girlfriend of Hamlet. They split after the father was killed, and there's some strife there. But here we see Ophelia is kind of grieving her father, and it just seems like a scene that kind of takes us off on this area to where the son wants the same kind of revenge that really Hamlet wants in his heart as well. And the two, from a Christian perspective, it's justice and revenge. How do you balance that when you're grieving and you're trying to get justice for the one that's actually done this harm? So in that, I see these two scenes as a major part of Hamlet. And as it ends up, Hamlet ends up in a sword match with Laertes and with the son, and ends up being poisoned. And girlfriend Ophelia ends up drinking the poison, and then of course the king is killed as well, mistakenly so, in this duel off. So this is my overview, and I pray that this can kind of give you some clarity on those two scenes. Have a good day.